Digitalisierung und
Digitalization and
Nachhaltigkeit. Dara
sustainability.
Kossok-Spieß,
Dara
Leitung Netzpolitik und
Kossok-Spieß
Digitalisierung, Handelsverband Deutschland,
is working for
uns
the
live zugeschaltet aus
German
Berlin.
initiative
Digitalisiert den
for
Handel vom
trade
Warenkorb
in
bis zur
Germany. She
künstlichen
digitizes
Intelligenz.
anything
Ganz
from
viel
the shopping basket
Spaß
right
von
through
ihrem
to
Beitrag.
AI. Enjoy her talk. Well, hello and welcome to my talk at the Toy Fair. I'm Dara Kossok-Spieß, and I'm talking to you about this unbeatable duo, digitization and sustainability. Well, what do I do, basically, and what do I do today? I'm the head of the net policy department of the HDE, the German Retail Federation, and I'm kind of the interface between politics, retail, and technology. Anything between shopping basket and artificial intelligence, that's my world. We're talking, it's a cross-discipline approach. This is why we do have to look at both revolutions, the digitization revolution and the sustainability revolution. We have to think those together. This is the greatest work, the greatest challenge for us this year, to protect climate and environment with ecological sustainability. And how can we achieve this? This is the topic of my talk today. This means we come to our agenda. What are we going to be talking about in the next 30 minutes? First of all, about digital and sustainable. Is that the future of retail? Then the major question, what does the market want? And of course, tailor-made digitization. Whether you're a small or medium-sized retailer or a major retailer, they can all use digitization for their work and use it sustainably. And right at the very end, we talk about the shadowy sides of omnichannel trade, of the things that might not be so good about it. Digital and sustainable, that's the future of retail. Internet, for us, is a novel territory. This is what Angela Merkel said in 2013 at a press conference with Barack Obama. Even then, this made furore because that wasn't the reality of citizens and of companies in the country. Digitization is the top topic of the 21st century, and thus, of course, also for retail, and it's a decisive factor for retail. But it's not the only revolution in society and in economics. Everything changes towards sustainability as well. This shout for change and for a sustainable economy influences civil society, politics, but also industry. And the core question in our time, and it's not a paradox, it's not opposites. You have to have ecological economy that's fit for the future, supported by innovative technology. And for this, we have to make sure and have to see what the elements for this are, both in society and in economy. But any change also means that you have challenges to face. Changes for companies have always been difficult. And so I sometimes, as somebody from the retail sector, ask, what does the market say? Is it worthwhile facing this challenge and addressing this challenge? And we'll look at this. Online retail clearly is a driver of growth and will remain so. But you also have to say that we must not forget that many brick-and-mortar retailers had a disastrous year, one after the other, really, in the pandemic. But if we look at turnovers of last year, you can see clearly there is growth, and also there is growth through online retail. In 2020, turnover grew significantly in Germany for online trading to 63 billion euros. That's nearly 14 billion euros more, 23% e-commerce. This is really a lot. And of course, the COVID-19 pandemic accelerated this, but online growth is not only due to COVID-19. It's a continuous trend. It's a trend, a continuous development that we've been observing for years, that we've been accompanying for years. And of course, this is a leap of 36 billion as compared to the year before, but the trend is the same as before. It's just supporting it. And the drivers are electrical, 3.5 billion, and FMPGs, 3 billion euro. So this is the greatest driver for growth. And of course, DIY and garden. In brick and mortar, we're in the non-food area. There's a clear growth, not as strongly as in the other sectors, but non-food is really in the negative growth in brick and mortar. If I look at the various groups of products, you can see that when it comes to leisure, health, sports, and where toys could actually be categorized, that there is quite a leap in development. If you look at 2020, it goes from 25 to 35 growth for online business. So we see here that there's a shift to online, and the online it's not a dichotomy. It's not online versus offline. What we see as well is very clearly there's a dominance of multi-channel retailers or omnichannel traders. So this is the price of digitization. We don't just want to look at digitization, but we also want to look at sustainability. And what does it look like? What's the market like there? And here too, in our COVID-19 monitor for consumers, we could see, and we asked people and researched, what does this do to consumer behavior? And post-corona shopping, if we can talk about this already, connects environmental awareness to a wish of ethical, correct consumption. So the pandemic has actually made people feel more mindful and responsible for their environment. Consumption, it's much better if you take less and you have a better quality of life. So it's quality rather than quantity. This is the most important part of a change in consumer behavior. We also have the topic that people do without things consciously. So you don't really want to define yourself through consumption and consumerism. And what's exciting about my talk today, we have the connection between nature and technology in brick and mortar retail, for example, in smart stores, which have a lot of intelligent technology, and you have been using this for quite some time, and more often their smart stores are not only smart, but they're also sustainable. Sustainable smart stores are digital solutions, unusual services, and clearly they have sustainability on their, in their mindset. What's exciting? You have sensors in the rooms, you save energy, you have timers for ventilation and air conditioning. I'll be talking about these details later on. So this is very important that CO2 emissions are saved with the help of technology. So this blue commerce, that's another buzzword. House is also a trend that is really enjoyed by consumers, they see that we've taken responsibility, and so they accompany us in this journey. What's really very important is that consumers don't see sustainability as forced onto them, but they can see sustainability paired with a high quality of life. And this is a very good possibility to communicate this, to show them that environment-friendly consuming is actually possible. You see this in the major trend to regional products. It's not a novel trend, and it's of course connected very strongly to an idea of quality. And it's more and more in the focus of consumers. And not only quality, but also a kind of nostalgia, as a kind of something setting your home country against the major globalization trend. And we also see this in the figures. These are old figures. I freely admit this. They're from the Federal Environmental Office, who don't have any newer figures. Nevertheless, I think this is really exciting because it goes back to 2017. It shows how turnover of green products has been rising. And so it's really exciting to see. And we can, of course, imagine that this trend has continued and that the turnover has continued to increase. Also by Friday for Futures, for example, but also other initiatives and campaigns. Now we come to the topic of how do I implement this? How can I make use of this? Tailor-made digitization, sustainability made to measure. You can see that this is quite a friendly encounter of green and green environmentalist and sustainability and digitization, not only at the point of sale, but also in administration, in the offices of your retailers. You need to look at digital technology, and you have more efficiency, more enjoyment of shopping. And so many many retailers, quite independent of whether they are online or offline, have really enjoyed digitization. But this has a price, and you can see it here. If you look, you see the energy need through digitization increases. You can see how it's worked out how energy need is not only larger, but it really is moving up. And of course, this is really important. The entire computer centers, for example, we'll be talking about the data capacities are increasing forever. And for also telecommunication, because retail is gone via apps on the smartphone. So there's retail has been smartphoneized. So of course you have a very handy piece of equipment, of course, and so supply of your building, where we've already been investing in sustainability, this is already saving energy. The other thing that we're standing for and have to talk about is if I use digitization, it's fun doing it, and it makes it more efficient. I, of course, have all sorts of possibilities worldwide. E-receipts, augmented reality, virtual reality, whether live shopping, social media commerce, one-to-one online shopping, technology at the point of sale. There's an immense world of diverse possibilities to use technology for retail. And this is why you see this kind of cyborg. Not everything that is possible has to be done. And this is the sustainable idea that should go into digitization. Of course, you have to always balance. If I use digitization, you don't just have to see, not just look after my business model, what does this do for my business model, but also I have to see what kind of effect does it have on sustainability capacities and energy capacities. And of course, I can use everything, but I should neither uh, uh, ask too much of the planet or of me. So the motto, basically, whenever you use technology, whether you use if you use artificial intelligence, look at your business model, adapt it to your business model, to your needs, to your challenges, and to what is your need, and you have to adapt it to your need. And it's only then that digitization is sustainable. If you use technological progress, you can always find more environment-friendly solutions. Digitization increased, so the computing power needed was increased, and but in the last 10 years, large parts were put onto hybrid cyber clouds, and they have much higher capacity. So even within digitization, we are in an ecological transformation. Not all of them, if you look at Bitcoin, of course, but many. So this means you can have customer-oriented activities through digitization. This should be the basic element of each retail shop. And there are fantastic models for that. You can see the newest technology that can give you both products that you can save products, you can save energy, you can save time, you can find more lucrative things you can concentrate on. You can save resources. For example, the topic machine learning. Machines can learn. I'm not a robot, by the way. So, predictive analysis you can use machine learning for this. You put in data you have about your customers and your products, and you put this into a learning system. And this system, I can train this system, teach this system, and it's so good that it can tell me in advance what my customers would and will buy. This, of course, changes your idea about purchasing. Your purchasing will be more sustainable. I know what my customers will prefer. So, what do I want in my store? More products that will actually respond to the customer's wishes and will fit into their needs. So I save energy, I save cost because I don't have less stuff in my store. I have less returns, and of course I have the correct products, the right products at the right time, shorter storage times. And so what's really important, of course, everything we do in digitization and also in sustainability is also normative. And you have the value for this, that you want to save the planet and we want to sustain nature, but not just that. If you are just from an economic point of view, it makes sense because I have better, more suited products, and I have a deeper link to my customer. I get higher customer satisfaction, and at the same time, I'll be more successful in the long term. This, of course, makes sense. But I talked about what's possible in technology, but there are really very small things you can do and small possibilities you can do, how to save energy, and very easy digital and simple digital solutions. So how you can become more sustainable. You don't starting with LED lighting. In 2022, you all know about that, but you have to evaluate for yourself whether maybe you should have a photovoltaic system. But also, when you come to digitization, you come to smart meters. You have sensors in the room, and so you can save money if you have timers for ventilation and air conditioning. even though in the non-food area there's much less energy used than in food sector, but here too you can make savings, both in the in connection with sustainability, but also in saving money. And we know that retail has already arrived there. Of course, we have made major investments, 5 million. Every second chain has been investing 5 million, and that's really, firmly anchored in the brains. We saved 1.7 billion plastic bags, and of course this means that we saved a lot of CO2 emissions. I was born in 1991. So since I've been alive, we saved 50% of CO2 in this context. I think this is a fantastic result, and this shows that we're on the right track and that we just have to continue in this, and we have to, of course. Now, of course, we come to the drawback. And this is the idea behind this entire talk. We don't only have climate killer digitization, but also we have to think about the sustainability of omnichannel trading or retailing, because omnichannel retail means that you have a lot of e-commerce, online retail, and we know the side effects, you would probably say, of online trading. Of course, you have to ask yourself, how sustainable can online retail be? Because we have all these processes that are related to it. We have parcels. There's more parcels if you have a larger percentage of online retail. That means more packaging, more traffic, more returns. You see that although the percentage of returns is decreasing, also because you use digitization, because you use new ways to measure things, but also the return parcels, because overall the number of parcels have increased. More people order things online. Of course, absolute numbers increase, and of course this is a problem both for retailers because it's expensive. The returns are very expensive for retailers, and also it's a problem for the entire sustainability topic. I brought you one slide concerning computer power. Of course, this means the more digitization, the more data I collect, the more data I process, the more machine learning I use, the more computer power I will need. The more computer power I need, the more my energy need. I don't really want to talk this away. This is a fact. Of course, we have to see where it's worthwhile to use this computer power and where it gives me so much support and where I can actually save energy due to this computer power so that it's okay for my business model. And we support you. We like to support you in this transformation process. I would like to use this not just to tell you all the facts and not to give you examples, but also to give you concrete help and offer you a very concrete help. And this, of course, would be the initiative in the trade association. We, as a German trade association, we are a great supporter of small and medium-sized companies. This is small and medium enterprises 4.0. We're supported by the Ministry of Economics, and small and medium enterprises and retailers can be supported by us. This means you'll find workshops, seminars. You have there's also surgery. You can phone and ask about your challenge and talk about your challenges, and you can get advice from us there. Very soon, when we have overcome the pandemic, you'll find a digital mobile office that for retail that will go around the country. And of course, you find various showrooms all over Germany where you can have a look at this. This is the one offer we can make. It's about the digitization part. I'm really wearing two hats today. The second is, of course, our digitization campaign, our climate protection campaign, sorry. We're talking about sustainability, about energy saving, about climate protection. We have checklists for these various topics. We have workshops and discussions. We have we have guidelines, and have a look at those. And in both cases, digitization and sustainability, would be happy to give you our expertise and also to give you examples, very clear best practices, very clear pilot projects that you could look at, how digitization and sustainability can go hand in hand, and how you can make your retail business fit for the future. And to sum up, the last 3 minutes are running. Smart market or society, politics or consumers, digitization and sustainability are the core questions of our time. I hope that I could show you that 2022 shows that there are no paradoxes, there are no opposites. Rather, for an economy that's fit for the future, that's ecological, it's important that they go hand in hand. We have challenges to face as enterprises. They are major. I really have to admit that. They are very important. We have to talk about them. But I hope that I could also show to you that you can get help from the German Trade as Retail Federation. And if you concentrate on your business model and on things that are tailor-made to your business model, then you will be able to overcome this challenge. We together will meet this challenge and face it and address it and overcome it. So the last slide is maybe the most important for me and you. These are my contact data. I'll be happy to be there as an expert. You can also get in touch with me over LinkedIn and other social and professional platforms. I'll be really happy if you could stay in touch. And I've talked to you about 30 minutes. I hope I could get my message across. And I hope that you have a relaxed Friday afternoon and a wonderful start into the weekend.